Welcome to this week's Down Home with Tina show. I'm so very excited to have with me. We have had a name change from the Lancaster Chorale to something else, and I don't want to tell you what it is yet because I want you to stick around for you to find out. And the artistic director that is going to share with us those details on that and why the name change and everything. And then also I have a chaplain that is going to be with us today to talk about, he is a chaplain with Bloom Township Fire Department and also Franklin County Sheriff's Office. So it'll be nice to hear what he has to say and share and what he does, because it is the first time I've actually had a chaplain of one of those types of organizations. It is Down Home with Tina, and I'll be back in just a minute. Don't go anywhere.
Dagger Law has more than 110 years of experience in nearly every aspect of the law. When we're not just helping clients, we're helping the community. You'll see us at festivals, sporting events, and around town because we live and work here too. We are your neighbors, and we want to help you when you need it. When we help each other, we're stronger. Our community is stronger. Creating a strong, vibrant, healthy, and safe community is everyone's responsibility, and we take the responsibility seriously. We are local, we are trusted, we are experienced.
Welcome back to Down Home with Tina. I have with me today, he was a guest once before. We were just trying to talk about, because time flies and it's just like, oh my goodness, and here we are about to be the holidays. And of course, another season has just started for what used to be known as the Lancaster Chorale. However, things have changed, and with that, a name has changed. So we're excited to share with folks what that is, why the name was changed. I welcome from now ProArte Ohio Vocal Ensemble Artistic Director, Dr. Stephen Caracciolo.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Tina.
How are things going?
It's going great. We've started a new season, as you said. It's already started rehearsals. This summer was a very busy summer with the transition from Lancaster Chorale to ProArte Ohio. Mm-hmm. And it's been a lot of work. We have a new logo. We have our website is updated, and I know that's what we want to talk about.
Yeah, because when you do a name change for something like this, that's not an easy thing to do because I remember years ago we were changing a format of when I was in radio, and I was like, well, why isn't it done already? It's like, because you can't put the cart before the horse. You've got a whole lot of things that you have to do to make it happen, to make it make sense, especially for the community who goes, what was that? What just happened? And of course, getting the word out about it because it's huge. Right?
It is huge.
Your brand. It's your brand.
And we had help. We had help from Angela Cryle with Cryle Communications. We're so grateful for them to helping us develop the new logo, to getting the word out. Yeah.
So why the name change?
Why the name change? A couple of reasons. One is we want to expand funding, certainly, and when people, because we perform now in a variety of venues, not only here in Lancaster, in Columbus regularly now, and also in Newark this season. And we noticed that people, either they would come to concerts and say, I didn't know this existed, and we would say, why had you not come to a professional choral ensemble before when you were a choral professional? And they said, well, we didn't understand that it was a professional ensemble.
Oh, and you think it was because of the name? Because it also probably limited, like, for folks to say, oh, that's from Lancaster. And so that's the only place.
And Lancaster is a wonderful, as you know, it's a wonderful place to live.
Yes.
And raise a family. And but people were a little confused as to why we were performing in different places.
Being called the
Lancaster Chorale.
Exactly, that makes complete sense.
We also have artists. We call, in the arts community, you call the people who actuate your, when you write grants, they're artists. Okay. And they come from 6 different counties.
Oh, wow, okay.
Right? And let's see, we have folks from 2 different states as well, from Indiana and from Michigan who drive in.
Really?
One of the concerts this year, the first concert on the program, we had instrumentalists drive in from Indiana, from Bloomington, Indiana, from Cincinnati.
So instrumentalists and those who, everybody involved, they are not just from the Lancaster area. It can be a very artistic community because we have a lot of things going on here with the arts, with the
Of course.
festival and all of that. But it still, it expands it a little more.
Exactly.
And do you think that it did limit those who would get involved because they thought it was like in the bubble of Lancaster as well?
Yeah, if you weren't
like
in
all of it involved.
Right. If you
Yes.
weren't in Lancaster, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it. They
So it
just
really
kinda
kind of expand. In fact, the concert that we had in the fall, we had students drive all the way up from Ohio University. We have some students coming to performances from OSU, and they probably, I think when they see the name ProArte Ohio, they know that when they spend their $10 on student tickets,
it's worth it.
it's a good. That's right. It's a
going to
good
be
deal.
really, really worth it. So again, how did you come up with the name?
That was not easy.
I'm sure it was not.
No, it wasn't. We looked at probably a good 35 names.
Wow.
And this was the name that the board kind of gravitated towards. ProArte is Latin.
Okay.
It means, it's an exclamation for art.
Okay.
ProArte.
Yeah.
And it just so happens that in Latin, the word either to or for, it's a preposition, is the word pro,
Okay.
which also then simultaneously indicates to the audience that this is a professional ensemble.
Now, for the vocalist and all of those, how do you choose those every year? Because do you have new folks come in and do auditions
We have
every
new
year?
folks all the time auditioning. I don't audition everybody every year.
Okay.
I create a
Okay.
long list, and then I think, oh, these would be terrific people to be a part of this particular project. Each project is a little different.
Okay, I was going to ask you that. So you have different vocalists in each project?
I'll
Or
say
not?
there's a
Are they
certain
the
core that tends to move through
Okay.
the season, but then not everyone's available either.
Okay.
I
okay.
will send out a call to, for instance, a soprano, and she'll say, I'd like to be a part of these projects, but I'm afraid I'm already booked. So then I need to have enough people audition to fill all the slots.
How do you do that?
It's a lot of work.
Because
It's easier now that
that's-
I'm here in Ohio.
Yeah.
I live in, I think I live in Worthington, so people are able to drive to our home, and in my home studio, that's where I do a lot of auditioning.
Okay, you do. Okay, yeah. Where do they gather for your practices?
Rehearsals are in
Rehearsals.
Columbus at St. Mark Episcopal in Columbus, and then we come down and we do a dress rehearsal here at St. Mary, and do a performance here at St. Mary, and then we do a dress rehearsal and a performance at St. Mary in German Village. And so far, people have not found that confusing. It's like, which St. Mary are you going to?
Right, yeah. Why did you decide to get in and go into this type of career, Stephen?
It's a great question. What a sweet question. I would say that I know it sounds corny, but you've probably heard this from other folks. I don't know that I selected it as much as it selected me.
No, I believe that.
Yeah.
It does
Yeah. I mean, when I was young, I think I knew I was either going to be a teacher or a musician, and then I ended up being a music professor.
Wow.
So kind of putting both together.
Music was just in your soul from the beginning, do you think?
Yeah. Well, I grew up singing in an Episcopal boy choir in my hometown, and the music gets in your blood.
It does, and I think that sometimes some people, you get like when you love it, you love it. Like all types of music, I think that I couldn't live without it. I just couldn't, and I'm not a singer, but I try. You know what I mean? And
Right.
then there are some people that, I can't. I'm like, I can have it on 24/7, more than TV or anything else. But I do every now and again. I go, okay, now I got to have a little bit of quiet time. But yeah, no, I think that's wonderful, wonderful, because it is a demanding job, especially with what you said. How many performances do you have every year?
With
in your
ProArte
season?
Ohio, we have basically 6. So we have 3 projects, and for every project we perform here in Lancaster and in Columbus. So Lancaster,
Okay.
Columbus, Lancaster, Columbus, Lancaster, Columbus.
Nice.
And then in the spring, we were invited to go out and perform as a run out in Newark. So we'll add another performance in Newark.
Do you ever see adding more, or do you think?
Oh,
that
I
you
would
should
love to
try-
add more,
Oh,
as
nice.
long as my my vocalist can handle it.
Okay.
Yeah. Everyone's busy.
Now, I want to go back to you. So you don't change vocalists every year. You keep some of the same, but you can open up audition for certain
from season to season, man, it can really change.
So how do people pay attention? Where do they go to see if they are interested in really being involved?
On our website. It's a great question. There's an About tab, and under About, there's audition information.
Okay. And then maybe, you never know, would there ever be somebody that you might need in the middle of a season that you might have to audition to come in because a couple people aren't available?
I just auditioned somebody last week, a terrific bass who's a professor at OSU. And we're all booked up with basses this season, right. But I said, you don't know, and I'll plug you in. Yeah, you have to work months ahead.
Yeah, and hopefully you don't have to have any change at the last minute or anything like that. But what my point is that those folks who really want to do something like this and become a vocalist for ProArte Ohio, keep looking and paying attention to the website and things like that, because you never know when something might just fall into your lap and you go, okay, this is the time, because sometimes it is about timing and paying attention to that. How do folks get tickets for your upcoming performances?
Tickets are available on the website, proarteohio.com.
Okay.
Tickets are also available at the door.
Okay.
Student tickets. Generally, younger kids don't come unless you have you have a quiet kid.
Okay.
And we did. At least one of our kids was quiet when they were young.
And no one knows who
in
that is.
fact, I'll go ahead. It's a fun story. I remember taking our 2-year-old to a Lancaster chorale concert because I remember he had a binky in his mouth. And folks looked at us like, "Why did you bring this kid to this concert?" And he was fine.
Yeah, and he was always the quiet one then?
He was the quiet one. Stephanie maybe perhaps not so much.
You know,
but
can't be the same.
Students, high school and college, $10.
Okay.
Regular is $35, and then seniors is $30.
Are tickets gone quickly? Do folks need to pay attention and get in there? And
we have plenty of room at St. Okay. We're blessed in that both venues have like 700 seats. So.
Okay. And the dates are Sunday, October 27th. I know you've already had one. And then Sunday, December 1st, Sunday, December 15th, Sunday, May 4th, and Sunday, May 11th. Was I missing any of those?
I think that's right. And the next concert with this airing will be December 1st. And I think we mentioned this the last time I was here, that we always give our essentially our Christmas program the Sunday after Thanksgiving. It's a tradition here in Lancaster that people seem to like.
And the Basilica of St. Mary of the Assumption.
Right.
Yep, right in Lancaster. Very cool. Oh, Great Mystery. I know we're about out of time, so is that correct?
Oh, Great Mystery is the name of that program.
Yep, nice. So folks, be looking for it. If you want to come local and be here and help support the ProArte Ohio vocal ensemble, I want to thank you so much, Dr. Caracciolo.
Thank you, Tina.
Appreciate your time. Love the new name. I think that is just awesome and beautiful. And good luck to you all this season.
Thank you very much.
Folks, don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. It's Down Home with Tina.
The Frankie Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our two locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster and 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
What makes Fairhope what it is our staff. It's always a question that we ask, why do you want to be here with us? And what they most always say is, you've touched my life this way. You know, you took care of this person, or I've seen what you've done and I want to do that. And so the staff that have been here know what it takes. They've been on the other side. They see what it takes to make someone comfortable, to make the family comfortable, and really what kind of support they need. And so I think that's what really makes Fairhope what it is.
Welcome back to Down Home with Tina as a guest for the very first time on the show. We've been trying to get him on, I think, for a few months now, but things happen and time just didn't work out, so this is perfect time. So I'm so excited to have with me today from Bloom Township and also fire chaplain with Franklin County Sheriff's. Right?
With a law enforcement chaplain with Franklin County Sheriff and fire chaplain with Bloom Township.
Fire chaplain, So you are a pastor at a church.
I am.
So I'm sure that is what probably, I would think, led you into being a chaplain at these other organizations. But why a pastor? Why did you decide to do that, Eric?
First, thanks for having me. It's great to be here and just to be able to share about it. And I think for me, as being a pastor and a church in the Canal Winchester area, we just celebrated our 25th anniversary yesterday.
Nice.
Which was just great to be able to do that and remember all the people and the lives that have been changed. And for us and for me, for years, I've never thought about chaplaincy, never knew really what it was. Yeah. It seemed like some guy would dress up in a nice suit and pray at an event, and I was never interested in that at all. Yeah. I'd much rather be with people and helping them. And one day I was asked if I would serve as a chaplain with the sheriff's office. Okay. And of course, my first response was no way. I'm not interested in getting dressed up and all of that sort of thing. But as I began to learn what the county was wanting to do with their chaplaincy program and their team, I was very interested. Mm-hmm. And for us, it had been primarily ceremonial. But they were really transitioning to be much more pastoral, to where we are very much encouraged to build relationships with our staff and our deputies, very much to care for people. And certainly we do the ceremonies and we get dressed up from time to time. Yeah. Some of those are good events and some of those are bad events. Yeah. But to be able to really develop those relationships, I was like, yeah, I'm absolutely, I'm all in for that.
How many years have you been doing it?
I've been with the county for 5 years now. Okay. And I've been with Bloom Township for just a little over 2. Okay. And that started, the Bloom Township had a line of duty death with a much loved fireman. And one of his best friends was part of our church family. And that led to me just being extended the honor to be able to do that funeral for them, which led to a lot of relationships that were being built and eventually being asked to be the chaplain.
Okay, and I was gonna, because thinking of that and all, when there is a loss of one of your own and you're in team, you're in fire department, that is something that sometimes will lead folks to, and it can be, and I think you would agree with me, some folks who lose somebody very close, they will get angry at God, and then some will get closer to God. Yeah. It's almost kind of like that extreme of one or the other. And how do you get those ones that are so angry and upset for the understanding of, to get to them to the other part of it, to where, because I mean, sometimes it is just a process. I tell myself I've got a very, very good relationship with the Lord, but I can't say if something wouldn't happen to one of my children that I would not be angry as to why right now. Yeah. Not that I have a right to be angry with him ever, but I can't say my human self would not. How do you do that? How do you, explain and work with somebody like that?
Well, the cycle of grief, it's in some ways it's the same for everybody. Everybody goes through it. Everybody has those same questions, those same emotions. Certainly anger, being angry with God is one of them. And everyone experiences in different order. Yep. And it hits you at different times in different ways. Yeah. And some things, even years later, will continue to trigger those kind of emotions, those thoughts, or even that grief to experience it again.
So you being a chaplain, as the years that you have said in those 2 different organizations or places, do you see, and I know I said before we got started, I always try to talk about on a positive note, on the suicide part of things. Yeah. Because that's kind of I don't want to say it's prevalent, but it's something that they face.
Yeah, prevalent's a very good word. And even in the studies that have been done, to see that it is prevalent within the first responder community, a lot of those statistics don't include those who have been retired. And
you are right.
To see those kind of stats, once they can figure out how to get them, the numbers are really just staggering.
And where do you play a part into helping those who are dealing with that type of depression? Because that's what it is. It's a depression.
Yeah, oftentimes, certainly that is a part of it. And it depends on how it came about and what kind of help the individual is willing to accept. Okay. So for us as chaplains, we want to make sure first that we're building relationships with our first responders.
And you are. That's exactly what you're doing.
That's what I love to do.
Earlier in our
And as we build those relationships, when it does hit the fan, because it will, hit the fan, whether it's a traumatic incident, a critical incident, whether it is something that's happening at home, whether it's just a cumulative trauma that's happened. Oftentimes that will lead to dark depression, can lead to suicidal thoughts. And for us, we want to already have the relationship with our first responders, so they have a sense of trust with us to be able to help. And sometimes that's being there to listen to them.
Exactly.
Sometimes it's connecting them with the right resources or programs, but definitely to be close enough so that we can notice some of those signs and symptoms.
Yeah, and there are so many people in this world, I feel, that they feel like they have absolutely nobody that they can talk to. And when I build that with somebody as a chaplain and somebody as yourself, I mean, you've always been there. I mean, confidentiality is your number one thing when it comes to, I would imagine, any of those who are in your church, who you chaplain at the organizations or first responders that you, so. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, and for us to be able to have them to be able to know what's said with us stays with us.
Yes.
We're not a part of the chain of command. So although I would report to the chief or the sheriff officially, I serve at their discretion.
Yes.
I don't report any information to them.
Correct.
I never share names, what's going on, and those types of things. So for us to be able to work in that bubble gives a lot of security and freedom for people to be able to share.
What has been one of your most enjoyable moments in doing this so far as the chaplain?
Most enjoyable? I love going in on days, wherever it is, and just hanging out, whether it's a slow Saturday and watching a football game and sitting down at the kitchen table and enjoying a meal with the guys. Whether it's
funny. You just have all these personalities that come together in the work that, I did a one day with the Lancaster Fire, a run with them for a day, and I was just like the whole day just watching and taking in. Aren't they entertaining? I mean, there's always something going on.
There's always something.
Like, whether there's a run or there's somebody, they got to go to the grocery, they get their meals, they got to cook, they've got somebody, this or that.
And first responders' sense of humor, it's typically
Love
a little
that you
bit
said
darker
it like that.
than most. And,
that's why I was like, oh, wow.
It's funny for me.
Me too now.
I did not grow up in a Christian bubble where if anyone said a foul word, it was... But when you first start, they're typically pretty cognizant that the chaplain's there, and there's lots of apologies to, sorry chap, but it's like, look, I get it, you're fine. I might not take part in that joke. I might not laugh at that joke, but I'm not offended. I'm just glad to be there with the guys and just experience what they're experiencing.
I love it. So you see yourself doing this for quite some time. Do you think that you'll continue on? Because what does it do compared to your own being a pastor? Because this adds on, and that's a lot if you have a church with many members that you are servicing and helping.
Yes, you're exactly right. And my church has been gracious, and our leadership team has allowed me to spend at least a whole day to do that. Whether that's making visits, whether it's doing administrative work, because I oversee the team for the sheriff's office, and there's 12 chaplains there.
Oh, wow.
And also currently working with an organization that's looking to train and recruit chaplains nationwide. So my church has been wonderful in allowing me to juggle different responsibilities and time and make that happen, because they want to support the first responders too.
I love it. Anything else that you would like to share with folks today? You can mention your church. What is it? New Life
in Canal, Winchester.
In Canal, Winchester.
And I think for churches, for individuals to know that first responders are people too. And they have difficult days, and they typically experience people on their worst day and their worst moments with the worst news. And to give certainly some grace, certainly be praying for our first responders.
Absolutely.
And for churches to be out there and individuals just supporting them in different ways, because they love serving our communities, and they do it very well.
Yes, and they keep on doing it.
Every day.
When I did my run, I'm just going to share it with this and close it with this. I, at the end of that run, that day, the hours that I was there, I think it was like 10 hours or so, I got in my car And I drove away from that engine house, and I pulled off, and I cried my eyes out, because I thought, every day, those who go out there as a first responder, they have no idea what they're going to face.
Yeah.
But like you said, it is usually somebody's worst day.
Yeah.
And they still get up that day later or 2 days later and do it all over again.
Yeah, they do.
So thank God for them, that they keep moving on. And thank you for you, and you're such a blessing for our first responders. So I'm so glad you were able to be with me, Chaplain Kitchen.
It's an honor to serve, an honor to be here today, so thanks so much.
Thank you. Folks, thank you so much. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. It's Down Home with Tina.
I believe recovering from self is one of the bravest things that anybody can do, and it is an absolute honor to be able to witness people evolve, grow, find purpose in their lives.
The reason why I do what I do is I love helping people, and I really love to work on understanding and striving to improve the lives of the people in our community. Being in Fairfield County is having a network of people around you.
I like helping veterans, and I think I like that my job is never the same day to day. Every day brings a new set of challenges to overcome and new people to help, so it's always changing.
Community, connections, collaboration. The Fairfield County Way.
Down Home with Tina is brought to you by these amazing sponsors. Thank you so much to my sponsors who each month they give something to help me to pay for the production here on the Down Home with Tina show, and they also are the reason why I can highlight wonderful nonprofits and for getting to highlight the teachers, veterans, students, first responders. And folks, if you know of somebody that you would like for me to highlight here on the show, please don't hesitate to reach out to me, downhomewithtina@gmail.com, and I will see about getting them on. There's so many wonderful folks in the world that do not get the opportunity to be recognized for the amazing things that they do in our community. So I hope that you will help me to give the opportunity to get to do so with those folks. Anyways, I wanted to also big, huge thank you to Janet Marault. She is the owner of Colony Classics Interiors. She is the one who has helped me with my decor for this couple of months of shows. And so with that being said, I wanted to make sure that you know that you can purchase the few items that I have on the set right now, and you can visit her shop at 602 North High Street in Lancaster. And also she has a Christmas open house. It is the Friday and Saturday after Thanksgiving. So if you want to stop in, I'm telling you what, folks, she has got the coolest gifts. Yes, she has interior designs and works and or furniture and all of those things, but she also has fun little stuff. She's got the Wind and Willow products, I think is what it's called, that is for cheese balls. She's got a lot of different things. Anyways, hopefully you can stop in. Thank you so much for watching this week's Down Home with Tina show. God bless and good day.